Let's talk about the cool new car, the 2024 Aston Martin DB12. It's like a glimpse into the future of cars. This car is all about being fancy, super high-tech, and crazy powerful. So buckle up and let's explore what makes the Aston Martin DB12 so special. Before starting, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more future updates. So let's start. First things first, let's talk about how this car looks and how fast it goes. The Aston Martin DB12 is like a work of art on wheels. It's designed to turn heads wherever it goes, and when it comes to speed, this car doesn't mess around. It can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds. Plus, it can zoom past 200 miles per hour when you really put your foot down. That's like superhero fast. Now let's pop open the hood and see what makes this beast roar. Unlike its older version, the DB11, the DB12 comes with a special turbocharged V8 engine. This engine is like the heart of the car, pumping out a whopping 670 horsepower. How did Aston Martin manage to get so much power out of this engine? Well, they did some fancy engineering magic. They made the turbochargers bigger to suck in more air, they improved how the engine stays cool, and they tweaked a bunch of other stuff inside the engine to make it super powerful and reliable. But wait! There's more. This car is not just about speed and power, it's also about luxury and style. From the outside, it might not look drastically different from its older sibling, the DB11, but if you look closely, you'll notice some subtle changes that make the DB12 look even cooler and more modern. And let's not forget about the little plaque under the hood, proudly showing off that each engine is hand-built with care in Great Britain. Now all this fancy stuff comes at a price. The Aston Martin DB12 doesn't come cheap. It starts at around $250,000, and if you want all the fancy extras, you're looking at spending around $350,000. But hey, if you want the best of the best, you gotta pay for it, right? Let's talk about some cool new features in the Aston Martin DB12, starting with its tires. The DB12 introduces Michelin Pilot Sport 5S tires, which are all about improving performance and grip on the road. These new tires are replacing the Pilot Sport 4S tires, setting a higher standard for what tires can do. Alongside these high-tech tires, Aston Martin has also updated its logo for a fresher, more modern look. Even though the changes to the outside of the car might seem small, the DB12 still maintains its reputation as one of the most beautiful and high-performance cars out there, building on what made its older version, the DB11, so great. Now let's step inside the DB12 and see what it has to offer. Aston Martin has really gone all out with luxury and technology in the interior. Everything from the key to the door handles screams elegance and sophistication. The key itself is beautifully designed, with a glass top showing off the Aston Martin logo. And when you unlock the car, the door handles glide out gracefully, inviting you inside. Once you're seated, you'll notice the iconic swan doors that open upwards, making it easier to get in and adding a touch of drama to the experience. The interior is crafted with luxurious materials like leather, carbon fiber, and aluminum, showing off Aston Martin's attention to detail and craftsmanship. In the center of it all is the control stack, where you'll find all the buttons and features you need to enhance your driving experience. There's a start-stop button with the Aston Martin logo, surrounded by a dial that lets you choose different driving modes, from everyday driving to sporty modes for when you want to feel the adrenaline. Now let's talk about the engine. The DB12 comes with an AMG-tuned V8 engine that sounds absolutely amazing, especially in sporty driving modes. While we can't rev it up all the way when the car is parked, just listening to it gives you a taste of what this car can do. Moving on to some surprising details about the interior, you'll notice that there aren't many parts from Mercedes-Benz, even though Aston Martin has used them in the past. Besides a few small things like the turn signal stock, most of the interior is uniquely Aston Martin. This includes the steering wheel and the infotainment system, which Aston Martin has developed to be intuitive and user-friendly, despite being new to the game. Speaking of the infotainment system, It's really impressive. It's responsive, easy to use, and offers a lot of useful features, like a top-down camera for parking and climate control options that let you adjust the temperature with just a tap. Now let's talk about the back seats. Yes, this car actually has back seats, but they're pretty small and not very comfortable. It's not really recommended to sit back there unless you're really desperate. As for accessing the trunk, it's a bit tricky because there's no button on the outside. You have to use the driver's door panel or the key fob. Inside the trunk, you'll find a fancy case holding the key and owner's manual, adding to the luxurious feel of the car. Lexus and Tesla are changing up their branding by prominently displaying their names instead of just their logos, which might be a move to appeal to markets like China, where people recognize brands better when spelled out. Another interesting thing on the Aston Martin DB12 is these little bumpets near the license plate. They might look a bit odd, but they're there to meet certain safety standards. The car also comes in a stunning satin green color called Aston Martin Racing Green. But if you want that, it'll cost you an extra $15,000. And if you're into customizing your ride, there are about $100,000 worth of extras you can add, including carbon fiber accents on the outside, which will set you back $23,000. Inside, you can get carbon fiber inlays for the center control stack for $4,300. It's all pretty pricey, but this particular car is a dealer demo, so it's decked out to show off what's possible. Now let's talk about how the DB12 drives. The powertrain in this car is seriously impressive. It feels solid and powerful, especially in the mid-range. And despite some people being unsure about Aston Martin using a Mercedes-Benz engine, it performs incredibly well. The car accelerates like a dream, offering both a smooth ride and a thrilling sports car experience. And the interior is a big step up from the DB11, with luxurious materials and a more refined design. Even though it's a grand tourer, this car still manages to feel like a true sports car, balancing agility with luxury features. It's not as plush as a Bentley, but not as hardcore as a Porsche 911 GT3. It sits nicely in the middle, offering a blend of sportiness and luxury that's hard to beat. And the engine delivers plenty of power, with smooth shifts and a quiet, refined ride, even in Sport Plus mode. The steering is another highlight, offering quick and precise responses that make you feel in control. And while I haven't had a chance to really push it on twisty roads, it feels stable and confident thanks to its wide track and solid build.